Well, it's time for business. We say hello to Kate Moody.
Hi, Francois.
And the turmoil and suspense continues on those oil markets.
Yeah, oil prices once again hitting that triple-digit level that we saw earlier this week for the first time since this conflict started, Francois. Markets really shrugging off Wednesday's unprecedented release of oil reserves, or the announcement of that unprecedented release. At least they're really focusing on the problem of supply. The international benchmark Brent crude did top $100 per barrel for the second time this week. It's currently trading just over $99 per barrel there. US WTI trading at about 95. Just a reminder that a month ago, Brent was trading between $60 and $70 a barrel. And many analysts do warn that until shipments through the Strait of Hormuz are able to resume, those prices could rise further still. A quick look at the markets, because that volatility is really weighing down trade on Wall Street this hour. Losses of over 1 percentage point across the board. The Dow Jones shedding about 500 points there. Earlier, we saw the major European indices also closing lower, with bank stocks dragging in particular as investors worry about their exposure to the Middle East. Well, the Trump administration has doubled down on its messaging that high oil prices are temporary. In a post on his Truth Social network, President Donald Trump said, quote, "The U.S. is the largest oil producer in the world by far, so when oil prices go up, we make a lot of money. But of far greater interest and importance to me is stopping an evil empire, Iran, from having nuclear weapons and destroying the Middle East and indeed the world." That the post from the American president earlier on. Meanwhile, his energy secretary, who earlier this week sparked further volatility on the markets by erroneously posting and then deleting a statement that the U.S. Navy had escorted a ship through the Strait of Hormuz, told CNBC on Thursday that might be possible by month's end, but not yet.
It'll happen relatively soon, but it can't happen now. We're simply not ready. All of our military assets right now are focused on destroying Iran's offensive capabilities. You know, the United States is a net exporter of oil. We're a net exporter of natural gas. And in fact, we're growing our net exports of natural gas this spring, this summer. You'll see massively more capacity online by the end of this year. Natural gas is another product. So we've done the right things in the U.S. to make the Western Hemisphere a much better place and to supply the world. But it is short-term pain for the long-term gain.
That phrase we've heard a lot from the U.S. administration, short-term pain for long-term gain. The U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright on CNBC earlier. Well, as that disruption to global energy supplies continues, India is grappling with a growing crisis over liquefied petroleum gas, or LPG, which is widely used for cooking gas, the majority of which the country imports from the Gulf. Tightening supplies have led to higher prices and panic buying, and India's government has invoked emergency powers requiring refineries to divert more fuel for domestic use. Yuka Royer has more.
Some have been waiting since the crack of dawn, hoping to get their LPG cylinders filled, only to go back home empty-handed. The Indian government has asked local authorities to relax pollution rules to allow the use of coal, biomass and other fuels as alternatives.
There's still a tiny amount left in this cylinder, but when it's completely empty, I'll have to cook using a clay stove. What else can we do? We have to eat, and there's no restaurant where we live.
This is the first time I'm using wood. What kind of wood? Like the ones broken off from a school bench and other bits and pieces. I've been getting by like this for 2 days.
Around 330 million homes in India rely on liquefied petroleum gas for cooking. Total consumption amounted to about 33 million metric tons last year, and imports accounted for about 2/3 of the volume. The government has ordered refineries to boost domestic production and also asked distributors to prioritize ordinary households and essential services over businesses. Restaurants and hotels are hard hit.
We are planning to, cut short our menu, and because ours is a South Indian tiffin kind of a food, dosa and puri, takes a lot of gas consumption.
There's definitely panic for sure, but they're all trying to fight this battle and see how long they can stretch it. And after you reach a point where there's no other option left, you'll have to shut shop.
Prior to the war, some 90% of India's LPG imports came from the Persian Gulf. The government has since diversified its sources and is buying more from the United States, Canada, Norway and Russia.